All right, so sometimes you get a problem like this one on the screen. In order to solve for x, we need to undo these fractions here. In order to do that, you can use a number of methods, but one of the easiest for most students is called fraction busters. In fraction busters, you bust the fractions by undoing them. Remember that this symbol right here in a fraction just means to divide. So to undo the dividing, we're going to multiply. We need to multiply by two different numbers. The first number we need to multiply by is 2. The second number we need to multiply by is 6. Now, 2 and 6 are whole numbers. When we multiply them by a fraction, it's helpful to make them fractions. To make a whole number a fraction, you divide it by 1. That's because 2 divided by 1 is 2, and 6 divided by 1 is 6. So they still mean their whole number selves. Now, some people like to combine these and just multiply by 12 over 1. Either method works. I'm going to multiply everything by 12 over 1. Remember, this has to go to every single term. So first, I'm going to multiply by this fraction right here. 12 times x is 12x. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I'm multiplying by the whole number 3. 12 times 3 is 36. Again, if you want to leave it 36 over 1, you absolutely can. Now I'm moving on to the other side of my equation. 7 times 12 is 84. And then for my last fraction, 12 times x is still 12x. And this time my denominator is 6 because 6 times 1 is 6. Now I still have fractions, but these fractions can reduce to a whole number. So let's start right here. 12x divided by 2 is 6x. 36 is still 36. 84 is still 84. And then I'm subtracting 2x because that's what 12 divided by 6 is. From here, I just want to get all my numbers on one side and variables on the other. So I'm going to start by subtracting 36 from both sides. Now I have 6x equals 84 minus 36, which is 48. I still have that 2x. I'm going to add that 2x to make a zero pair here. So that means 8x equals 48. If I divide everything by 8, I find that x is equal to 6. Now it's a good idea to check your answers. So let's get a little workspace and do that. So once we've found x is 6, we are going to plug it back into the original equation. The reason you're going to the original equation is that if you made a mistake anywhere along the way and you plug it back into the mistake, you're not going to find it. So always go back to your original. Everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a 6. So again, I'm putting a 6 here and a 6 here because that's where my x's were. Now, if I keep simplifying, I get 6 divided by 2 is 3. And on this side, I get 6 divided by 6 is 1. Notice I'm keeping my minus sign in. Here, 3 plus 3 is 6. On this side, 7 minus 1 is 6. And look, I got the same answer, so I know I was correct. In this case, I happen to get 6 back, but remember, this doesn't necessarily need to be the answer. It just needs to be the same number. All right, let's try one more. In this problem, I still have fractions that I need to bust. In this case, both the fractions are on the left side of the equation. This doesn't change anything that I'm thinking about. So, in order to get rid of these fractions, I'm going to multiply by both my denominators, which in this case is multiplying by 4 over 1 and 3 over 1. Remember, you can also multiply those two numbers and get 12 over 1. In this case, it's just a coincidence that we're multiplying by 12 again. So, as I work my way through the fraction, I'm going to multiply this one first. So 12 times 3x is 36x over 4 minus, now I have two things in my numerator in this. Both of them are going to be multiplied by 12. So I'm going to have 12x, there we go, 12x plus 12, and the whole thing is still over 3. Last, I need to multiply my number at the end, because remember, you need to multiply everything, and again, 12 times 3 is 36. Now I can reduce these fractions to get my whole numbers. 36x divided by 4 is 9x minus, right here, we have 12x divided by 3, which is 4x. And again, 12 divided by 3 here is plus 4, and that all equals 36. Now notice I put these in parentheses. The reason I did that is because this minus right here is going to this whole fraction. So I need to keep it going to that whole fraction. As I keep going, I then get 9x minus 4x minus 4, because that negative 1 is being distributed to both things. Now I can combine my like terms. I have 5x minus 4 equals 36. If I add 4 to both sides, we see that 5x equals 40. We need to undo that coefficient of 5 by dividing, and we see that x is 8. Now it's time to check our answer, because the beauty of solving equations is that you can always plug your answer back in and know that you got it correct, or give yourself an opportunity to find mistakes. So everywhere I see an x again, I'm putting an 8. So I have 3, there we go, that's a better thickness, 3 times 8 over 4, again replacing that x, minus 8 plus 1 over 3 equals 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 8 plus 1 is 9. Notice that I am doing the tops of my fractions first, because that is one of the first things you do when following your order of operations. Now I'm moving on to my dividing. That is 6 minus 3. And now I can do my subtraction. 6 minus 3 is 3, so that is correct.